Hey guys, so my name is Paris Phillips and I am a senior on the NC State gymnastics team. This is my last year competing and I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, when I was 18 years old. So some of the questions that y'all had for me was, one, what do I eat and drink? I typically don't eat anything different than what normal people eat. I just have to put in insulin every time I eat. So if I eat a pack of crackers or whether I eat a full meal, I have to have insulin to go with that. So, and I never drink anything with sugar in it. I stick to my Powerade Zeros or Gatorade Zeros or Diet Coke or water, but I hardly ever drink anything with sugar in it unless my blood sugar is going low. And typically your blood sugar goes low, below 70. I start to feel bad since I have type 1 diabetes, and I'm so used to being high that I start to feel bad whenever I'm typically around below 100. So I guess above 170 is not very good for me, but anything below 100 I don't really like either. Second question is second question is how old am I? I'm 21 years old, so I've had diabetes for almost 3 years. May 11th of 2016 was when I was officially diagnosed. So next question was, what do I do daily? So my typical day is normally wake up around 7, and I go to practice, and then I go to class all day, and I go back to practice, and then I'm typically in study hall or tutoring and that kind of thing at night. So I always am going. I'm about 8 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. at night. So I'm constantly practicing or going to class, doing all of my schoolwork. There's a lot of it. So college is a very fun and educational experience, but it's also very tough in time management. So I have a lot of experience with that. Normally there's a bunch of finger pricks and checking blood sugars and using my pump and giving insulin all day long. So I do different things with that too. I wear an insulin pump and I wear a continuous glucose monitor. So there's a tube and it stays inside of me at all times, and there's a needle that stays inside of me. The tube typically comes in and out every 3 days, and I just change that once every 3 days whenever my insulin runs out. And then the needle is the continuous glucose monitor that monitors my blood sugar all day long and sends the information to my pump, kind of like a Bluetooth would, so that I can constantly know what my blood sugars are. So that's another thing that I do daily, is check that all day long. The next question is, what kind of medicine do I take, or do I take medicine? Yes, I do take medicine. It's just strictly insulin. I don't have multiple types. I just use one type. It's called Fiasp. It's fairly new. So I can take insulin while I'm eating instead of having to take insulin a long time before I eat. So I said previously that anytime I eat anything, I have to give myself insulin. So that's my medicine. I have been a gymnast since I was 4 years old. I think that's roughly 17 or 18 years. I can't do the math correctly all the time, but roughly 17 or 18 years that I've been doing gymnastics. So very long time. And this is my last season doing gymnastics ever. So my career is done after this season. So I'm really excited, but it's bittersweet. So when was I diagnosed with type 1 diabetes? I was diagnosed after my first semester in college when I was 18 years old. I came to college in January, so a little bit earlier than most people. And I competed with NC State gymnastics that season. And after my season, it was finals week. I was really stressed out, and I was having a bunch of symptoms that I did not know were symptoms until after I was diagnosed. The symptoms are weight loss, vision loss, urinating a lot and drinking a lot. I was just having a lot of issues with that, and I didn't really realize I could justify everything. So because I was always thirsty from working out and being a gymnast, I was hydrating myself a lot, so that means I was going to the bathroom a lot, I was peeing a lot. Weight loss, I didn't really think about that. I didn't notice it. I don't typically weigh myself all the time, so I never really thought about that. Vision loss, we just thought my eyes were getting worse. They diagnosed me with astigmatism in my eye, which was retracted actually after I was diagnosed with diabetes, just because I just needed some insulin to correct that. So now I'm perfectly fine with my vision again. You see, I wear glasses, but that's always been an issue for me. I knew that I was having some symptoms whenever I came home from college, and my mom noticed that I was coming in and out of her bathroom. About every 5 minutes I would have to pee, and so it got really, really bad. And so she was like, let's just prick your finger on a meter that we had at my house. And I had no idea. I didn't know symptoms. I didn't know anything. So we pricked my finger, and on the meter it just read the word high. And so we were like, well, what does that mean? It has to be broken, right? So we pricked my sister's finger, we pricked my mom's finger, we pricked my dad's finger, and everyone was normal. But mine just kept reading the word high. So we looked up what that meant, and that meant that your blood sugar is over 600, which is very dangerous. I didn't go to the hospital. I just contacted my athletic trainer at NC State, and she said to get me into a doctor as soon as possible. So I went to the doctor a couple days later, and my blood sugar, after not eating sugar or carbs or drinking anything sugary for about 3 days, was still 300. So after that I was diagnosed, and my story has continued since then. And I've been working on it ever since. So I'll move on to the next question. Do I feel different than I was before I was diagnosed? And I feel like I've gotten this question before, but I don't think that it was much different for me. Now I'm just more responsible, better at managing my time. I'm better at managing my health and know what I'm putting in my body and everything. So I'm definitely more conscious about that. So I'm definitely, I feel good about myself now. That, at the beginning it was different, and I wasn't very, very good at managing it. But now I'm doing much better, and I'm really proud of myself for that. So the answer in a couple words is no, I don't feel different than I was before. I just feel stronger. I feel like I've grown as a person. So health-wise, nope, I feel the same. I just have some times. So if my blood sugar goes low, of course I'll feel bad. Or if I'm too high, of course I'll feel bad. But overall, I don't feel any different. I just feel stronger. So next question was, how often do I work out? I work out a lot. Typically 2 to 3 times a day. With gymnastics practice, we're about 20 hours a week or more, about 5 to 6 days a week. So there's not really much rest time for me. And if I'm not working out with gymnastics, I'm constantly going back and forth to all of my classes. So that's, a college campus is pretty big. So I'm constantly walking and fast walking. So I would say that I work out a very good amount of time. That is pretty much my story, and so let me know if y'all have any other questions. I would love to answer them. Thanks.